So most of you know that I love playing Call of Duty Warzone, and in that game, it's all about really finding the weapon that you really love to play with. Well, for me, it's when I found
War Pig? Heck yeah.
I mean, she was beautiful. The perfect balance of dangerous and sexy. She had everything that you wanted in a weapon. Powerful, all shiny and stuff.
All right, where we going? Where you? Oh, you don't even see me. Oh, get the pig. Get the pig.
Get the pig!
Going up. Dude's getting the snout. Where's the pig? Oh, take my piggy. Oh. You can't hide from me. You can't hide. Oh,
Get it. Suck it! Anyway, I may have that same feeling for a few players for 2021 fantasy football. Now, it may be way too early, but here's a few players that I love in 2021. What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there, and hopefully you're not buried in snow right now, because certain parts of this country have just been hammered. Well, we're going to take your mind off it for a few minutes here, because we're talking a little 2021 fantasy football. Now, it is early. Super early, right? It's February, and a lot can change between now and your fantasy football drafts in like August, right? Free agency, the NFL draft, coaching changes, players to be released, injuries. A lot can happen over the next few months. But as of right now, at this point in time, there's a few players that I'm really paying attention to at some certain positions. So in this episode, I have a list of 4 players, 1 quarterback, 1 running back, a wide receiver, and a tight end that I'm paying close attention to here in the offseason. Now, obviously, as things progress here throughout the offseason, these guys may change, right? But as of right now, these are a few names that I'm really paying close attention to, and I'm not going to waste any more time. We're getting right into the topic here, and we're going to start with the quarterback position. And honestly, right now, I love me some Matthew Stafford in LA. I mean, come on, he's been hidden in Detroit almost his entire career. It's still the Lions, right? But yet he's still gone out and thrown for over 4,000 yards in every season in which he's had 10 starts. And hell, one year, threw for over 5,000 yards with Brandon Pettigrew as his second leading receiver. Do you even remember Brandon Pettigrew? Now, a lot of people want to go out and point out interceptions as a reason to really not buy into Matthew Stafford. But, I mean, honestly, have they failed to see the improvements that he's made over the past 5 years or so? Over the last 5 seasons, he's averaged 1 interception every 55 pass attempts. That's better than Deshaun Watson, who's 1 for every 48, and is just behind Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan, who are both 1 for every 57 pass attempts. Now, he gets to go to LA, and he's going to be unlocked by Sean McVay, the dude who took what looked like a bust in Jared Goff and made him a 2-time Pro Bowler. Stafford now gets the most weapons he's ever had. Not the best weapons, but the most weapons, right? Not going to discount Calvin Johnson in his prime whatsoever, but with Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Cam Akers, the fantasy numbers could be huge for Matthew Stafford. Now, I'm really interested to see what moves the Rams make here this offseason, but as of right now, Matthew Stafford is really lined up to put up some huge fantasy numbers. And a lot of people are going to forget about him on draft day. He's not going to be one of those big, sexy names. Now, we preach around here, later round quarterbacks. We don't ever go before the 5th round or so. Matthew Stafford is going to fit that bill, right? He's probably going to be somewhere in that round 8 to 10 range, depending on, league mates and what your scoring and stuff is. But the potential for scoring for Matthew Stafford is really going to be there. And if they can keep that core solid in the receiving group, maybe make a little improvement on the offensive line here in the offseason, we could be looking at something huge for Matthew Stafford. He's somebody who I love here early in the year, and that I'm going to be watching. Now we're going to move on to the running back position. It's Antonio Gibson, Washington football team. But we need to reiterate something with this, because I think a lot of people have forgotten that coming out of college, Antonio Gibson hadn't gotten a whole lot of touches, right? Only 33 total rush attempts in his college career, and only had 44 total receptions in college. He was never somebody who really racked up a lot of volume. I mean, he didn't have a season in college in which he touched the ball more than 71 times total. I think he did more than that in his rookie year of the NFL, where he had 206 total touches for just over 1,000 total yards and 11 total touchdowns, and missed 2 games of the season. I mean, he started his NFL career with touchdowns in 8 out of his first 11 games, and we saw glimpses of a super high ceiling, right? Week 12 versus Dallas, 20 carries, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, what happens if this kid takes a slight step forward? Right now, in the consensus rankings, he's below, Cam Akers and DeAndre Swift. He's not for me. I got him above both of those guys because if the Washington football team can take a small step forward, it's already a team on the rise, right? I believe in Ron Rivera. I believe he knows how to find and utilize talent for his roster. They could really take a step forward in 2021, shore up the offensive line a little bit, kind of figure out what the future is going to be at quarterback, but we could see a whole lot of Antonio Gibson, and the best part, he's probably going to be like a 3rd or 4th round pick on draft day. He's more than likely going to be your running back 2, maybe your running back 3. Maybe you're one of those people who want to go wide receiver early and he's, somebody else that you really have to rely on. Me, personally, heavy running back early, and Antonio Gibson as possibly my running back 3. Sign me up for that all day long. He's definitely somebody who I'm going to pay close attention to here in this offseason. Now, let's move to the wide receiver position. That'll be where we find T. Higgins, Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Higgins and Burrow connection early on in the season, it was real, right? I mean, they were on the same page together. Joe Burrow goes down. T. Higgins gets some bad quarterback play, finishes a little bit slower second half of the season. People started to forget about T. Higgins. Don't forget about T. Higgins in 2021. He averaged 8 targets a game with Joe Burrow and had at least 5 targets, 4 catches, and 60 yards in 6 of the 9 games they played together. But now, they're more than likely going to move on from A.J. Green, which is going to free up 104 targets from last year. So T. Higgins just had 67 catches, 908 yards, and 6 touchdowns, a top 30 wide receiver with A.J. Green, and without Burrow's second half of the year, those numbers could definitely go up. He's a deep ball threat, he's a red zone target, and he's in a division that's going to score a lot of points, right? The Browns aren't pushovers anymore. They're going to have to start throwing the ball a lot more in Cincinnati to keep pace with all these divisional games. As of right now, I love me some T. Higgins in 2021. He's going to fall to the mid-rounds. Is he somebody that I want to rely upon on my roster? Do I want him to be my wide receiver 1, my wide receiver 2? Nope. I would really rather not. If he's my wide receiver 3 or lower, though, yes, sign me up for that as of right now all day long. The potential is huge. We could definitely be looking at somebody that could kind of touch that 80 reception. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him right around 1,100 yards, 7 to 9 touchdowns, a top 25 receiver easy this year with a healthier Joe Burrow. Don't forget about T. Higgins on draft day. But what about tight ends, the football kind here? Let's talk about TJ Hockenson, tight end of the Detroit Lions. I know, he plays for the Lions, and I bashed the Lions earlier, but things are a little bit different in Detroit here this year, right? New quarterback, Jared Goff. New head coach wants to chew off kneecaps or something. It's really weird. Sounds like Kenny G's more than likely going to be gone. Marvin Jones, free agent. Danny Amendola, free agent. There could be a loss of over 200 targets in this offense alone. I mean, that's huge volume that's got to go somewhere, right? We've seen Jared Goff fall in love with a tight end in the past, right? Remember Tyler Higbee in 2019. I mean, you have to think that Detroit brings in some more pass-catching weapons throughout the draft and free agency, but tight end in fantasy football is a wasteland. What do you look for? If you miss out on the Kelseys, the Kittles, the Wallers, the Andrews, you're looking for volume. You're looking for targets, and TJ Hockenson could definitely be one of those guys that soaks up a lot of volume here this year, and that's really all we can ask for at the tight end position. I mean, like I said a little bit earlier, if you miss out on one of those bigger name guys and you're looking for somebody late, you got to try to chase volume at the tight end position because there's just not enough guys. There's not 10 or 12 solid tight ends that you can count on weekly. You just got to shoot for the volume, and hopefully it hits, more times than not in your lineup throughout the season. But TJ Hockenson is definitely going to be one of those guys that I'm watching pretty close here in the offseason to see who Detroit adds, to see how many potential targets he could see in this offense. All right, so those are a few of the players that I love here early on in 2021, but I want to know what you're thinking. Maybe there's some players that you're really paying close attention to here this offseason. Who are they? Leave them down below in the comment section. I would love to see what your thought process is and a few of the guys that you're following here pretty closely this offseason in hopes that you can snag them at a value during your fantasy football draft. So hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week. I'm looking forward to engaging with you guys here in the offseason. Obviously, views are down, which absolutely sucks for us here on YouTube, but we got some big things coming. big things, big announcements coming here in the next week or so. So if you're looking forward to some more content, if you're looking forward to following this channel maybe behind the scenes a little bit more, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button because we got a lot of information coming at you here really, really soon. But we greatly appreciate the support. Hit that like button for me, and we will talk to you later. Have a great one. Thanks.